What is black ritual? What do you consider black ritual?
Sometimes they ask for the land, sometimes they ask for the money, and mostly they ask that to give their girls who are unmarried. So somehow the girls, they don't want to go to another tribe, but they are forcefully, given to the tribe as a ransom, not as a ransom money, but the girls are also being given. And the black ritualist is that that sometimes any minor issue that they come to know about their sisters, about their daughters, about their wives, they they just kill them. And there is another black ritual that's in some of the remote areas in Balochistan. Balochistan is also the province of Pakistan.
Human trafficking. Who is it done by?
That the influential people are also involved into this.
Where do they sell this women? Where do they bring them? Where's the market actually? It has to be outside somewhere. They go to Arabic countries or
Um,
send to Europe,
yes,
to different countries like Italy, and see them, because I see this happening all the time, and I see it done by different groups. The Albanians are very strong in this, and
mhm.
you could see there's a fight against this. You fight for peace and everything else, and you have a lot of courage to come about and talk about all this.
Influential people are also indulged in this business, in this dirty business.
Homosexuality in your book, Agony, Pressing and Space, Roses and Thorns. I mean, your titles are speaking for themselves. Unbelievable. Who chooses the titles, you or your publisher?
I,
You do it.
yes. It's about Agony fencing in the space, the thorns, the roses and thorns.
Is
It's about
the practice of homosexuality actually a practice punished by law, and by which law?
homosexuality, isn't it? That is, this is a practice which is going in some of the areas where the young boys, they are the victims of this. So I write about it to highlight that it has to be stopped, and it's also a bitter reality when people are knowing that this is something below the belt which is going around. But I feel that this is something unethical, and the people who are doing this practice, uh, they they are not, they are not normal. There is a psychological disorder. Uh, this has to be, given the sessions of counseling, and just tell them, okay, life is more about morality. Life is more about ethical values. The slogan is has to be changed. Not Black Lives Matter. I think that every life matters, whether you accept it or not. Human blood has the same color.
Are they
And
honor killings for adultery?
yes,
And
yes.
it's done by under Sharia, by lapidation and all that.
No, 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 not by Sharia. I'm not scared if I'm writing against this uh, political system, which is taking away the peace of mind, which is taking away the lives of the people.
What is one thing that no one knows about you? Hello, welcome to Autopedia Live. I'm Chris Douglas, and my guest today is a very exceptional lady from Pakistan, an author for more than a dozen books, TED speaker, member of Amnesty International, Peace Ambassador of CPAD, the Institute of Peace and Development, honorary member of United Nations Pakistan, member of All Ladies League, WEF, Women Economic Forum. She will speak to us today about tyranny, war, corruption, terrorism, honor killings, the humiliation of women and children, human trafficking, and much more right after this.
This is Author TV, the only source for worldwide promotion for authors, their books, their life story, and their legacy. Are you ready for mystery, suspense, crime, adventure, or poetry? Perhaps to enter a world of history and drama, comedy or politics? Author TV brings you live shows as well as interviews with authors from around the world. Author TV broadcasts daily, both directly and through its correspondents. You will listen to exclusive talks or view streamed live videos transmitted from venues or studios around the world. Are you an author looking for an interview? Contact Author TV at author@authortv.tv or visit www.authortv.tv. Author TV.
Well, we're back. It is my honor to introduce to you Huma Kirmani. Huma, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Please tell us about yourself, just a bit. Take us into the past, where you were born, background, parents, childhood.
I'm from Pakistan, and I was born in Pakistan's biggest city, Karachi. My father was a professor of English literature, and from my maternal side, my grandfather was an author, and and my great great grandfather was the first Urdu novelist in the subcontinent. Uh, I grew up as a normal child, but I was the one who loved to be quiet because I have my own imaginative world where I have many imaginary friends, and I love to make the stories. And then, being a child, I started writing small, short stories and some of the poems as well. Um Being a girl, I was also, uh, all around. There were the ideas, which is of which seems to be from utopia. I admired beauty. I admired I have my dreams. Uh, okay, I dream now as well. But somehow there was a twist and turn in my life when I looked around myself and I see uh, that there is more pain, more agony in the world as to remain in one's dream. There are many things going on, that if we'll just look at the history of the subcontinent, being the colonial part of the UK kingdom, and then the creation of the two countries, Pakistan and India. And I wasn't there when the world's greatest migration had occurred, that the Muslims from uh, India, they started coming to Pakistan, and Hindus and Sikhs, they started going back to India. I read all about this in the history books, and then another migration when there was a fall of Dhaka, when Pakistan was, fallen apart into two parts. That is the East Pakistan, was a part of Pakistan, and there was a fall of Dhaka, and again there was a huge influx of the refugees from from Bangladesh to Pakistan, and then the history has many stories. The people whom I later came across, they told me the misery of the migration from Bangladesh to Pakistan. And after that, when I was at school, there was something very unusual had happened, that that Afghanistan is just in our neighborhood, and the war was started there. So somehow the war in Afghanistan had changed my vision, because I witnessed, uh, a huge influx of refugees from Afghanistan. I saw them in the refugee camps in Peshawar. I saw many beautiful Afghan children. They were just roaming in Karachi. They were hungry. They were not having proper clothing. They were not having proper shelters. So somehow I started feeling that life is all about this, to see the misery of the refugees. So I started thinking about in this direction, that what is life? Life is to help other people. Uh, and then I my education is, I'm having a master's degree in molecular biology, but somehow that I didn't work in that particular field, but I started looking into this, towards this, to write about the people who are the victims of war and terrorism. It's not about that there was a war in Afghanistan that had changed my mind, but being in the neighborhood, um Pakistan also has suffered a lot because of that war and terrorism. Uh, that there were terrorists who attacked, the northern areas of Pakistan, and the entire nation was somehow the victim of that terrorism. So Pakistan has paid the price of being the neighbor of Afghanistan, but the good thing, the best part of that Pakistan never back out. We are still helping out our Afghan brothers. We are still with them. Pakistan facilitate uh, peace talk between the Taliban and the other nations. So this is how it changed my perception about life. And then the Gulf War, the Syrian War, the children in Yemen, they all are the victims of war, which had changed my mind, and I started writing about them. Not only about the war victims, but I also write about the the rituals in the rural areas of Pakistan, where women, they are not allowed to educate themselves, where they are not allowed to get married of their choice, where they are killed in the name of honor killing, even if it's not their part, if they are not involved in any of the sin or crime, but you see that somehow the women, they are being accused for that, and they are being killed for that. And later, I also write about that. Then I started brooding over this, that what is behind is all this terrorism and all this thing, that is oppression. So I somehow perceived that it's all about um that extremism in the name of religion, extremism in the name of racial discrimination, and that unfortunately it is increasing day by day all over the world. So I also write about the women who are suffering, who are just getting, uh, somehow they are just pulled into the situation where there is no option but to accept some of the things which are really not meant for them. Uh, so you asked me about my most controversial book. It's about that, okay, you know, that there is a difference in the religion all over the world, but we are not supposed to condemn any one religion on the basis of our own prospects. What is our religion says to us? It's for us. We are not supposed to look at the people in the perception of what is being said in our religion. But you see, the extremism is that all of us have started thinking, okay, this is my religion, this is my race, and I'm the most appropriate and I'm the most correct person in the world. And when once anyone has acquired this sort of a belief, then it just gives the birth of extremism. So I
So religion divides.
yeah.
We'll talk about that in just a bit. At what age did you realize you have a call for writing?
Okay. As I told you that I was a very quiet child, and I used to sit most of the time in the corners and reading the books. And I've started writing these short stories and small poems. Uh, but those stories were, like the fantasy that okay, if it's raining outside, it inspired me. Then I started writing a poem on the rain. But the first time, that is, I told you that my first published story was in one of the Urdu magazine, which was for children, and there I had written my first short story was about fall of Dhaka, because you see, it's a pain that people might have forgotten about, that Pakistan was fallen into two parts. You see that there were a lot of people who sacrificed their lives, who sacrificed their wealth, who sacrificed their family ties, and they migrated to Pakistan. And in 1970 war between Pakistan and India, Pakistan was broken into two parts and Bangladesh was created. Okay, it happens in the history, but you see, the stars of that migration is not easy. I have come. There was a woman who was working in my home, and she was a Bengali woman. Once she was sitting with me, and I was watching a book on human. I was watching a movie on human trafficking. So she watched it so deeply, and she said that, "Do you know that I was also the victim of human trafficking?" And she was a Bengali woman. She was taken from Bangladesh to India, and then from India to Pakistan. I shared my book PDF with you. In that is about the Afghan war, and in that I also highlighted that character. Basically, what I write about the living characters who are living in this world. It's not about that I just create my own imaginative characters. The backdrop of my stories are mostly from the people who are living around me. So I cannot tell you the exact age of mine that when did I feel that okay, I can be a writer. But it was my wish to write for the people. It was my wish to do something for literature because I think it's in my genes. As I told you that my maternal family was very, into this one. My maternal grandfather, my maternal great grandfather, they were the writers, and somehow, as I told you that my father was the professor, so we were having a lot of books in our house, and as I was a quiet and shy child, so I love to read the books. I love to read all alone. And I cannot tell you the exact age of mine, but I'm telling you that I used to write stories. I think since the time when I learned how to write. Uh, and then, uh, but there was a change in my perspective regarding the writing. That was after when the war was started in our neighborhood that we have gone for, because that was really something that, though Pakistan was not the part of that war, but Pakistanis had paid the price of it. You, so this is how my perception was changed. And the other thing was that when I started feeling that okay, I'm a girl and I'm a woman, and the things around me are not as easier as I used to think in my childhood or in my teenage. And then I started writing about the women, uh, uh, that okay, what are their problems, what are their crises, and then I also write about that. Uh, you see that what is the status of a woman who is being divorced? Because the divorce is also a stigma in our society. The people, they think that okay, this woman is divorced, so she must not be a woman of good character. So if a woman is being divorced, uh, that's not the stigma that we just paste it on that woman. So I searched that what my religion says about a divorced woman, or what is the process of divorce. And then there are many things like there was one thing uh, that in our relations, when a man and woman is married, man has to pay an amount of money to the woman, and that we call as meher. But unfortunately, many women, they are not being paid that amount, which is in the Sharia of our religion. So somehow these are the things that women are being suppressed, sometimes in the name of the respect, sometimes in the name of the peer pressure of the families. So many girls are still not allowed here to educate themselves, to get married to the person of their choice. There's so many things, and the early marriages and inappropriate, that a little girl or a 16 or the 13-year-old girl is being married to a 60-year man. And this is all happening uh, um, in the rural areas of Pakistan. I won't say that we don't have a law and order situation in Pakistan. It's not bad, but the problem is this, that Pakistan is an agricultural country, and the most of the part is the rural area where there is a feudalistic system, feudalism there, and they have their own codes. And sometimes they don't follow that what the national judiciary is telling them. There are laws against honor killing. There are laws against the child marriage. Uh, but uh, because of that stubborn feudalistic system in the rural areas of Pakistan, women are, they are the victims of this male chauvinism in the society. I think that I've given you the
That is
answer.
that is unbelievable. You spoke at TEDx that a young woman, as a as in your age at the time, you wanted to be a free writer, to write about things which were not allowed for women to write.
Yes. Um, I, I spoke about in my TED talk. There's a book of mine, and my son, he was very much scared, and most of the time my both sons, I have mashallah two sons, and the youngest one always say that please do not write about this, do not speak about this. And there was a case, I think few or the last year, that is a case of the Asya Bibi of that blasphemy uh, case. And the day when the verdict was expecting from the court about the Asya Bibi, who was accused as involved in blasphemy. So my son, he asked me that, Mom, please do not write anything about her.
You're talking
Please
about
do
your
not.
first. I'm sorry to interrupt. You're talking about your first book, the nonfiction, The Corridors of Transmutation, Agony. Right?
The, no. It's not about the corridors of transmutation. It's a valediction forbidden. It's about that. Okay, there were two people who were somehow they like each other, but they were from different religion, isn't it? Both of them were Muslim, but they were having the different caste. They were having different sects. So you see that the boy was punished, and the girl was safely taken home, and then she got married. So the girl, she kept on thinking for her entire life that the boy who belonged to the other sect, why was he punished, and why not me? Because the girl thought that that she was also the part of that, the bondage or the relationship. So that was my book. That's about that. The first thing is this: when you are going to punish someone, when you are going to accuse someone, we should think about that religious discrimination. Everybody has got the right, no matter to which sect a person is belong to. And because I have written so many things that in 19, I think 72 or 73, I was a child at that time, but I came to know that there was Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, who was later assassinated. He announced that whoever is not believing into this religious fact, that is non-Muslim. Okay, it's fine, but after just announcing that this group of they are non-Muslims because they are not believing into this, nobody is supposed to take away their lives, because it is also not said in our religion as well to take away the lives of the people who are not following Islam. It's Islam never asked anyone to take away anyone's life. But somehow you see that extremism, that hatred had started giving the impression to the people, okay, if they are not from our sect, take away their lives, kill them. I usually write about this, okay, but you know the the best thing is this, that we all are human beings and we should respect each other. What am I, what you are, it's our personal domain. Nobody is supposed to take away the life of that person whom you think that, okay, he's not following my religious aspects, or he's not executing or implementing my religious belief, so that person is not supposed to live a life. This is what I have written in my book. But my very first book was on Afghan war, uh, which was published, and In that, I also had
Corridors of transmutation, right?
yes, corridors of transmutation.
I was going to ask about this. That's about war and terrorism. In fact, and then you quote that your son was worried to lose you and asked you actually to delete the book. Why?
That was not about the corridors of transmutation. That was my book, which was about the blasphemy. So he was saying that mostly the people, so he said that that book has to be deleted, that book has to be removed because he said that I don't want to lose you. I said I haven't written anything which is against someone's belief. I've written okay, if someone is having this fact or this belief, so nobody is supposed to take away the life of that person. And I have written a poem as well in which you see that I don't like it that if I'm Muslim or if I'm not Muslim, that's my life. Nobody is supposed to take away my life from me. As but for those of transportation, migrating from Afghanistan to the different countries like Pakistan, Iran, and India as well, but mostly they come to Pakistan. So that was not my first book about which my son was worried for. That was something else. Because you see, by the time there is religious extremism, racial extremism, and you see, the people are scared to talk about it. Why? If we are unable to speak up for the right things, then how could we say that I'm a human being? Uh, I have read somewhere that pen is mightier than sword. So I cannot keep a sword in my hand, but I can keep my pen. So I have to write about all these atrocities which are going around. So I said to my son, don't worry. I'm not scared of anyone. I'm not scared of telling the truth to the people because you see that if uh, life is too short, and nowadays you see that the pandemic is going around, so life is unpredictable. You never know that which one will be our last breath. So I think that we have to speak up for the righteous things. Uh, why should we be scared not to highlighting the facts which are going around and which are, you see, the nibbling the real force of humanity. People they don't know about that. What are the values? What is the morality of life? So this is that was not my book of corridors of transportation. That was something else that I had written about blasphemy.
Take us into your book by the rivers of Babylon.
And
And that reminds me actually of the Boney M inspired, probably your title, right? Either Boney M or both together with the Psalm 137.
yeah,
And
yeah,
there about the war in Syria and Iraq. Can you take us in?
yeah. Sure. Uh, that is the song by the rivers of Babylon. It's my favorite song. Still, I love the song. So when I started writing, you see that what made me write the book on the Syrian war. Uh, I think that you also have some of the memories that there was a Syrian man, Ahmed Abdullah Kurdi, who was taking his family from Syria towards Turkey, and the boat was capsized. And he was looking for his son, he was looking for his wife, who were thrown into the sea. And then that the dead body of his son and his wife was uh, thrown back to the beach. You remember that picture? The boy was lying on the beach, and the man was crying. That made me uh, write the book on Syrian war. Uh, and after that tragedy, there was another TED talk, and there I had written one poem on that Abdullah Kurdi that who lost his family while he was just fleeing from Syria to Turkey. And after that, I had started that okay, what was the background of Syria, and that uh, what what were the factors that had started the war, and why the war was started. It was again, you see, because of that religious extremism that people they started killing each other, and in Iraq, that it, Syria is no more. It's just the city of rebels. You see that people they were not there, and Babylon was the city. Like you must have heard about the gardens of Babylon, the hanging gardens of the Babylon, one of the seven wonders in the world. So you see, a country which was the symbol of the civilization, which was a country of the values. I don't know that what had happened that all of a sudden the war was started there, and the people they started fleeing away from there, and that had made me to write this book. And after the tragedy of Abdullah Kurdi who lost his son, the boat was capsized while he was just going from Syria to Turkey. So that had touched my heart, and I started writing about it. That okay, these are the facts that had just uh, if
Yeah,
you
Babylon
see,
was in fact the symbol of the world at that time. Omar Khayyam writes about getting the telescope actually from there. He was
mhm,
an astronomer and uh,
mhm,
and also mathematician, and you have all these Peruvians that you probably know. But he writes about that, and it was amazing. Um, yeah, history is written by the winners. Um, you have a very interesting book also by the name of Languished Dale of Substinence. And it's about honor killing. You mentioned it before and maybe collaborated.
yeah,
Done as black ritual. What is black ritual? What do you consider black ritual? And what is it?
black ritual is that honor killing. That you see that if two tribes they are having a conflict, and one tribe kills the people of another tribe, so they need to give some money, or sometimes the tribe which has lost more people in that conflict, they ask them to give the girls of the other tribe. You understand what I mean? Like there are two tribes, they are having a conflict, and one tribe which has lost many lives, they ask about okay, they want to have something, a sort of ransom, okay, and they sometimes they ask for the land, sometimes they ask for the money, and mostly they ask that to give their girls who are unmarried. So somehow the girls they don't want to go to another tribe, but they are forcefully, given to the tribe as a ransom, not as a ransom money, but the girls are also being given. And the black ritualist is that that sometimes any minor issue that they come to know about their sisters, about their daughters, about their wives, they they just kill them. And there is another black ritual that's some of the remote areas in Balochistan. Balochistan is also the province of Pakistan. They what they do, that they just bury the woman. All of us are knowing about it. We have laws against such, uh, you know, these bad things. But as I told you, that because of the stubborn feudalistic system in our provinces, they have their own courts, they have their own, the judges, and they don't want the Pakistan court to be involved into that. And this is how that's a black ritual. You see that they uh, they easily kill any of the women if they would come to know a minor issue regard, even the honor killing. It's being done with the poor women. Sometimes they really have not done anything bad, but you see that people they exaggerate, and that if the two tribes they're having a sort of conflict, they started pointing out, okay, that the women of this tribe is doing this, and out of keep their pride, to keep their respect, they just chop the head of the woman who's being wrongly accused for a sin which she hasn't done that.
Is a
This
religion
is
calling voice actually imposing on these honor killings?
Yes.
Perhaps of different sects.
Uh, Honor killing is not because of the different sects. Honor killing is just for you see the sheer peer pressure of the women, men uh, society, isn't it? That you see that they come to know that this woman has done something. They'll start. Uh, they won't bear it. They take it as their pride. They don't want to resolve. Okay, they don't want to go into the details that okay, whether it's fine, whether it's correct or not. They just take it to their pride, and ultimately they come to the conclusion that this woman is not supposed to uh, live a life, and they just kill the woman. And I told you that Pakistan government and Pakistan judiciary they have passed many bills against this honor killing, and that there are strict rules as well. But again, I told you that they have got their own courts in rural areas where they don't allow anyone to indulge in that. This is how what is happening. So we need to change the mindset. We need to change that stubborn mindset that okay, a woman can easily be either she can be given as a ransom to the other tribe, or she can easily be killed if somebody has just pointed at her with a wrong intention, with a fake accusation. They just don't want to go into the details, and they just kill the girls, innocent girls, and it's happening. Unfortunately, regretfully, it's happening in this modern age as well. I won't say that in every street of Pakistan this is happening. It's not like that, but mostly the women they are the victims of this honor killing. I had started a petition as well to sign the petition against honor killing, and you see, we are trying the best, but again, I think we need more time to change the mindset. The mindset which cannot, it's something that we need 100 years to change the mindset of these people who are living in their own world, in their own feudalistic system. And I've written many short stories on this as well.
We're talking about Sharia, the Islamic law, actually enforces this.
No, it's not the Sharia. Uh, the courts that in the rural areas There is no such punishment in Islam to kill a woman for the fake accusation. It's their mindset. It's their, you see that for the centuries it's been running in their tribes, in their families, and they're just following it. It's not in the Sharia. I think that people might not be knowing that Islam is not a orthodox religion. It is given respect and freedom to the women. Islam never says to that not to allow a woman to educate herself, not to allow a woman to work somewhere, but it's something that uh, this is their culture. This is the thing which is being running in their blood, in their genes for centuries. Uh, it's nothing to do with Islam. This is what I'm telling you. Though there are Muslims who are doing all this, but they are not following the real spirit of Islam. Uh, Islam never says to take away the life of a woman for any fake accusation, until and unless it's being proved, profoundly in a detail. And again, for such accusations, Islam says that there should be a witness, that there should be a witness who can say that, who can provide the evidence that the person had seen uh, this woman doing this sin. But uh, I don't know that that's why I had written at the black ritual. They are not following Sharia. They are having their own mindset, and this is that is something that they don't want to change themselves.
You mentioned gender inequality very much, and it shows there actually has to be a reform of some laws.
Yes, this is what I told you, that there are laws. Government is trying to implement the reforms, but the problem is this, that that somehow the people who are living in the rural areas, they have their very stubborn their own codes, where they don't want anyone to trespass the laws that they had been following for hundreds of years. This is what I'm saying, that what we need to do, we need to change the mindset of the society. Still, you see that people, they are not well aware. The problem is this, that they uh, in the rural areas, the people, they the feudals or their rulers, that who are having the commands on their tribes, they have been taken as gods. Whatever they say, okay, they say that is supposed to be done, but somehow the strict rules by the government, somehow things are getting better, but still this is going on. That a case is being reported that this has happened. So a woman is being killed, and then the case was reported. So what's the use of that?
Astonishing. Human trafficking. Who is it done by?
Uh, Human trafficking. It's a crime which is going all around the world. Everyone knows about it. When the women and children, they have been, the victims of this human trafficking, when they are shifting from one country to another country. So the people who are at the borders, the people who are just watching at the borders, they also know about it. How could that women and children, they are the victims of the human trafficking, and no one is knowing about it. They are working in the camps, and they are mostly. you see that girls, women. That I mentioned one Bengali woman who was working in my house as a maid. She um, actually, women, the girls, they are being fooled by the men or by the boys in the name of love, and that they don't have any sense, and they make elopement, and this elopement just take them to the devils who are doing this dirty business of human trafficking. They just make the girls to believe them to their the flowery language, and then they make the elopement, and then after that such women or such girls, they become the victims of human trafficking. They realized that they were fooled by such men because they were sold in the market and they were taken to the camps where they used to work. And you see that this is a business that everyone is knowing about it, but there are laws, there are uh, you know punishments for such people. But again, it's happening. It's happening for no reason. Um, like I think a month ago, uh, someone told me that there was a girl in Punjab, and she was sold to someone, and then she was taken to a brothel house, and then the parents, they were crying. So I said that everyone knows that this is happening. So what what is the reason that we couldn't stop it? The problem is this, that the world has become, you see, so much money minded. The people, they just want to have the short ways to be rich, and they started playing with the lives of the people. Um,
Where do they sell this women? Where do they bring them? Where's the market actually? It has to be outside somewhere. They go to Arabic countries or
um,
send to Europe
yes,
to different countries like Italy and see them because I see this happening all the time and I see it done by different groups. The Albanians are very strong in this and
mhm,
you could see there's a fight against this. You fight for peace and everything else, and you have a lot of courage to come about and talk about all these things actually. But where in human trafficking, I would believe they take them from young, very young, incredible.
yeah, you see that it's going all around the world. Everyone knows about it, but no one is there to stop such people who are involved into this. So this gave me an impression that okay, it means that some of the influential people are also indulged in this business, in this dirty business. Like when we are condemned, when we condemn that there should be no, you see that the drug business, isn't it? But you see that all around the world, the drugs, they have been supplied, they have been, given everywhere. The people, they easily get the drugs, and so is this business. Human trafficking. Everyone is knowing, okay, who is doing this, but um, why we cannot curb this? Because I'm not a very influential person. I'm just a writer. I'm just a human right activist. I can vociferate that what is going around. But the people who are more influential than me, they they should have the courage to stop this. So what I feel that you see that this is that the influential people are also involved into this. Uh, if everything is happening under my nose and I know it and I just ignore it, so what does it mean? That I'm I am in that dirty business that I'm not trying to stop it by any means. So that's
I would believe you have either organizations or special forces that are fighting against this, and it shows. Um,
yeah.
Go ahead.
You are very much right that people they are fighting against the people they are raising their voice that it shouldn't be it shouldn't be the part of the society. It has to be stopped somewhere. But unfortunately, you can see that it has been happening for years and years. And you'll see that we cannot say that, okay, there is no human trafficking, there is no slavery in this world. This is happening. Even if we
Yeah.
uh, won't accept the reality, but it's a bitter reality that yes, it is happening all around.
Homosexuality in your book, Agony, Pressing and Space, Roses and Thorns. I mean, your titles are speaking for themselves. Unbelievable. Who chooses the titles, you or your publisher?
I,
You do it.
I, yes. It's about any fencing in the space, the thorns, the roses and thorns. It's about
Is the practice of homosexuality actually a practice punished by law, and by which law?
homosexuality, isn't it? That is, this is a practice which is going in some of the areas where the young boys they are the victims of this. So I write about it to highlight that it has to be stopped, and it's also a bitter reality then people are knowing that this is something below the belt which is going around. It has to be curved, it has to be highlighted, there should be a strict law that uh, you see that not only the girls, boys are also supposed to be saved from such people who just, you know, there is a market where the beautiful young boys are being sold out to the people. And you see that it just ruined their life. If the people they are just doing this out of poverty or out of or just lack of awareness that this is something which is unethical, which is something below the belt, it has to be curbed. And the book, my it is based on a true story that one of my friends she told me that someone has gone to that place to help out the people. There was a burst earthquake in the northern areas of Pakistan in 2005, and they went over there to help out the people. So they were offered that if you want someone. So somehow we see that this is a wrong practice, and I strongly condemn it. Wherever it's being on, it is, in my perspective, it is quite unethical. I, I condemn it because I think that's the worst thing that if it's practicing anywhere in any part of the world.
I'll stop here, not go any further than that because I can see it. Uh, that's probably stopped by religion first.
Religion, and as well as I feel that it is something that my mind cannot accept it. It is something very unethical. It is something which is below the belt. It is something that that below that morality. Uh, that is something I think that the people who are practicing this, um, uh, they need counseling because you see that I think that this homosexuality is a psychological disorder. When the people all around the world they are talking about the gays' rights, about this, I'm not saying that take away the life of a person who is into involved, who is doing this or who is indulged in this, but I think that this is a psychological disorder, and these people needs to have the counseling sessions. Um, I am a very liberal person, but something really I cannot digest. I think that the people they need to, if anywhere, as in my book I have written about it. So when I searched, um, so I came to know that okay, it's not only in this particular part of my country; it's happening everywhere. So um, we I discussed it with my son, and he's a very good friend of mine, and I said that okay, but I feel that this is something unethical, and the people who are doing this practice, uh, they they are not, they are not normal. There is a psychological disorder. Uh, this has to be, given the sessions of counseling, and just tell them, okay, life is more about morality. Life is more about ethical values. So that was uh, uh, you know, uh, that that's why I had written that story. Okay, that it has to be highlighted and it has to be curved.
Interesting book. We have to read it.
Thank
We're not used in the Western world with. How do you see freedom? This is part of their freedom. Actually, they want to express it. Don't you think they have the rights actually to do what they want to do with their own bodies?
no, we talk about the freedom, we talk about the liberty of the people who are indulged into this practice of homosexuality or being the gay or being the lesbians. We are talking about their rights. But we never are more concerned about the freedom, about the liberty, about the rights of the normal people, and we love to do the dropping the bombs uh, in the different countries and the different cities. We just siege the people. We just taking away the lands from the people who belong to them. We never ever think that everybody has got the right, whether it's a black or it's a colored folk or it's a white folk. We still have that racial discrimination. We never feel that okay, uh, that the the black man who was killed by the cop. I don't remember his name. And there are many things like the war in Syria, the war in Iraq, the war in Yemen, the war in uh, Kashmir. What is happening in Kashmir? We never talk about it. We never talk about it. We never raise our voice to that extent. That okay, the people they are just yes, Palestinian. Just look at them. They have been suffering for years and years, isn't it? We never speak strongly about the rights of these people. We never speak about the people who are suffering war, terrorism, poverty, and the see that I talked about the rural areas in Pakistan. We never raise a voice that why there are more victims of human trafficking. But you see, in today's world, the people they're more concerned about the rights of gays, the rights of lesbians, and they say, okay, this they have, this is their freedom. Nobody,
There's so many of them, but you're talking about George Floyd actually, who triggered the
yeah,
whole movement.
yeah, yeah. exactly.
Black Lives Matter.
Choice.
Um, I can't say much, but Black Lives Matter. The founder of Black Lives Matter came in forward, and it's not one as one of the founders. Actually, they say they are Marxist. They
I
support
think
Marxist ideology.
the slogan is has to be changed. Not Black Lives Matter. I think that every life matters, whether it's
Oh, they get insulted. They get very insulted.
yes, yes. What does it mean that
It's a
Black
political.
Lives
It's a
Matter?
political movement. I don't think it has to do with lives because you have many black people that are against that, and they voiced it out and they come to the open. But it is supported. It's promoted. It seems to me like it doesn't happen only in the United States. You can see that as a world agenda, and
Yeah.
it explodes in different parts of the world and takes over.
Uh,
And it's a movement, and it's made for a purpose.
yes.
It's just promoting Marxism.
Uh, there,
Not it.
there is a forum, and they read my poem, which I had written for Kashmir. So they asked me to send my poem to them. So yesterday they sent me again one email, and they said that can you please uh, send us the recording of the poem. I said okay, I'll do it. Today I received another email from them. They said, okay, do not read a poem on Kashmir because you know that some of the people they are saying that there is no such agony in Kashmir as being exaggerated by another country, that is Pakistan. So I was just thinking that okay, we don't want to speak about the sufferings of the people, not only in Kashmir but all over the world. And you may also have read that Harper Lee spoke To Kill a Mockingbird. So in that, To Kill a Mockingbird is written by Harper Lee. It's my favorite book. It's about that a black man was accused by a white girl for a crime that really he was not into that crime. So there are many good dialogues, but when Barack Obama was elected as the president of United States, and he was elected twice, so I recall that novel by Harper Lee, To Kill a Mockingbird. It means that whether you accept it or not, human blood has the same color. And this is the evidence that Obama can be the president of United States. So the things are getting better. I'm not saying that okay that blacks have not been given the rights, but somehow you see that it happens. It can be happen to any of us, to any of the Asian like me, the people who are living in the Kashmir. They are also being their lives also matter. Kashmiri lives matter. Uh, Syrian lives matter, Palestinian lives matter. I think that the slogan should be that human lives matter or the human life matters. We should uh, we have to think outside the box, which is based on the skin color, about the language, about the religion. I think that human lives matter. That should be the slogan. I know that poet was a victim, and you see that the uh, I watched all the the things uh, like the people the march wearing the mask, keeping the social distancing. That has really shown that people are still hopeful that there will be a better change in the world. Uh, During the time of pandemic it occurred, and you see that people they didn't care about their lives, and they just came in the streets. They were just protesting against that crime. But I have a reservation against the slogan Black Lives Matter. I think it has to be human lives matter.
Yeah, well, it's been said, but then they accuse those that said it of racism.
Yes.
So you could see actually that before all this started, I don't think racism was that prominent in the United States, and I don't see it in the world much. Well, we're talking about the States because I'm here, but we live here. But in fact, I don't think it existed. If it existed, it digressed to such a level that I mean, you find a whole Hollywood is filled with black actors. You have writers, you have in sports the prominent names, shows, and all that. I mean, all the liberty and all the things that they could do, and there's absolutely no. If I will tell you this, if I would have to open up a WET, white entertainment television, I'll be branded as a racist. And just because I say it, I could be a racist. Okay? But they do have the BET, the black entertainment television. Now you have Asian, you have Chinese, Koreans television, you have all this. But the minute I say, because let's put it this way: the white race. Speaking about race now, is about 13% of world 13% of world population today. So it's decreasing and it's actually extinguishing.
You're right.
So as a minority, you could come in and say, well, I'd like to have WET and have my own channels and have my own. And maybe promote people from Scandinavia down to all the way down to Indo-Europeans. And I could promote the people that I'd like to promote. Why not? There's nothing to do with being racist. There's nothing to do with being against anyone. Absolutely nothing. But I cannot do that. I'll be branded. I'll be tagged. I will be probably... and I'll end up in a war situation. Anyway, I see. How do you see racism? I mean, do you have that in Pakistan?
Here in Pakistan, people are more into this religious discrimination about the sects. We have different sects, that the Sunnis and the Shiites.
Well, that's what brought you to Kashmir, to the schism, actually.
Yes. But racism is not something like this. We are extremists. Here, the extremism is more on religion as compared, because you see that here, or somehow they have that conflicts, because there are many languages which are being spoken here in Pakistan. Sometimes they say that, okay, on the basis of the language and on the basis of the religious differentiation, like belonging to the different sects. So they have this racism is not like this, that they are just going to kill a black man or a white man. Mostly we all are brown, so it's not like that. But here the people are more into this religious discrimination, and sometimes on that on the basis of the different languages which are being spoken by different people living in the different areas.
Tale of Two Flags. Your book. I could see that you love Charles Dickens very much. Can you talk about this book?
Which book?
A Tale of Two Flags?
All right. A Tale of Two Flags. It's about Pakistan and India. And you see that when the partition was there in 1947, that before 1947, the subcontinent, that is India and Pakistan, now the present India, Pakistan and Bangladesh, the three countries, they were the British colony. There was a colonial system here in the subcontinent, and after the Second World War, when there was a new world order, you see that the things were changed. So the British, they decided to quit India, and the Muslims and the Hindus, they were asking for the separate lands. They had, that they had proposed by Dias, who is the founder of Pakistan. He proposed a two-nation theory, and he said that, that the Muslims and Hindus, they cannot live together, and they should have the separate lands. So, uh, if you know the history of the subcontinent, there was a British man, Redcliffe, and he was sent to that united India to draw the lines on the map that okay, these parts of the subcontinent will be India, these parts will be Pakistan. And later I read that Redcliffe was not knowing the exact geographical position or the geographical state of India. He wasn't knowing that which areas were thickly populated with the Muslims. So he drew the lines like that. And in the end, you see that the one conflict that the British left behind is Kashmir. Uh, and you know that since the time of the Dogra dynasty in Kashmir, you see that they were more prone towards India. And it was an unfair partition. I'm not saying that Kashmir has to be the part of Pakistan, but at least Kashmiris should have given their rights to live as a free nation because they are not allowed to keep their identity. So, A Tale of Two Flags is basically it's all about that how India and Pakistan um, have been into this conflict, and there were three wars um, related to Kashmir, and still you see the stigma is going on and on and on, and it's been more than a year. That is the dire consequences of that lockdown in Kashmir. There was no internet facility. The people were not allowed to go outside their homes. So everyone knows about it, but nobody is there enough to give a shut up call to India. Even the Indians, like their writer Arundhati Roy, she writes about the rights of Kashmiris. I'm not saying that make Kashmir the part of Pakistan. I'm just asking that, okay, Kashmiris support the rights. They should have given the right to live as a free nation. So that had made me write A Tale of Two Flags. So when I chose this title, so my son he said that okay, you have stolen it from Charles Dickens' novel A Tale of Two Cities. I said, no, I'm not.
Your son is protector.
Yes,
You're an active. Yeah, yeah. It's very much protector. He comes in few of your writings. Actually, you mention him and he's right there protecting you. Against peril. You have a tremendous courage, and you're followed by. I don't know if you realize it or not, but every day more and more women and people of all kinds, of all gender in this world. I mean, they're following you and they're watching. So you're admired by many. You're an active supporter of Kashmir, and maybe it should be an autonomous region. It should declare itself sovereign state. And of Palestine.
Palestine. Okay. I have written one story that is a letter to God, and that is being. I just write it that what the children of Palestine they feel when their homes were burned, when they were not allowed to go outside to play. So I had written that letter. I'll share it with you. I think that it's the same thing. The Kashmiris, the Kashmiris, the Palestinians are also suffering. I think that whatever is their right, it has to be given to them. And why the different people are just suppressing their voice, that is, they want their rights to live as a free nation, the Palestinians. If you recall that in 80s, there was, the murders attempt in the two camps. I think that Sabra and Shatila, at that time I was a child, but you see that uh, my father discussed everything in the home, whether it's about the follow Taka, whether it's about the migration, that is the creation of Pakistan and India, whether it's about the Second World War, whatever he discussed so many things with us. So there are many things that I learned from my father, and I did the same with my children. I discuss many things with them now. My sons, they're smarter than me because they are the children of today. But you see that uh, why we are not given the rights to the Palestinians, why we are not given the rights to the Kashmiris. If we can speak up for that psychological disorder in the way that, okay, I don't mind if some people think that I'm just saying it because it's not allowed in my religion. Okay, yes, I am, but if you just look at it, to me, it's very unethical. But the one thing, that one oppression, one atrocity, which is really not acceptable, that just curbing the rights of the two nations like Palestinians and the Kashmiris, and even the United Nations knows the facts. But what we are doing, every year we have got the Security Council sessions where the different people they come and they speak. United Nations is not the speech forum. It is the place where the decisions has to be taken to improve or to implement the peaceful aspects in the world. But in every Security Council session, the people they come to speak, and then no results, nothing. This is the reality that uh, you know uh, it's not
Delicate,
the speech forum.
very delicate subject.
Yeah.
Um, you are the winner of many awards. And I mentioned the latest Books for Peace Special Award in 2020. So we're talking about this year that we live in. And this was announced also at the UNESCO. Um, and that's wonderful. Do you hope that any of your books could become motion picture?
Oh, why not?
Feature film or documentary?
I
And if yes, which one?
uh, I would like to have my feature film the corridors of transmutation, um, because as it was my first book, and there are the characters. So I would love that if somebody can pick up my book and just make a feature film on it. I don't want any money for that. I just want that the, the people should know that what happened, that how the war was started. You see that I am in the very much concerned about the women empowerment. And when I started the book, I had no intention that I have to show the empowerment of women in my book, but somehow at the back of my mind, unintentionally, the narrator of my book is an Afghan girl. In the first chapter, we have read that she is talking to her grandmother, and she was just talking to her grandmother, and she was just asking her that what did her feel as a woman. And then she said that, okay, then she, uh, uh, in the chapter when she is talking to her mother, that why a woman is supposed to love her husband if she doesn't love her, it doesn't love him. So her mother, she replies to that young girl, because the husband is a god, a woman has to love her, a woman has to respect her. No matter the husband is giving love and respect in return to that woman. I don't remember word to word, but that was something at the back of my mind where I felt that women should have the right to be respected and to be loved by their husbands. This is not only a compulsion to a woman.
and to choose her own husband,
Yeah.
and to choose her own
Sorry?
to choose her own lifetime companion, to choose her
Yeah,
own husband. Because I believe that I don't know if you correct me if it's true in Pakistan, but I knew in India they have pre-marriages. They since they were small, parents decide actually who will marry the girl, and they have to pre-arrange the marriages. Is that in Pakistan as well?
yeah, yes, mostly. Mostly it happens, but now the time has changed. The girls and the boys, they take their own decisions, but not everywhere. Again, I would say in the rural areas of uh, Pakistan.
Are they honor killings for adultery?
Yes,
And
there is.
it's done by under Sharia by lapidation and all that.
No, 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 not by Sharia. Again, you see that
Or maybe
they
we have
have.
a wrong concept of that.
Yes, you see that they have their own laws, and they have their own codes, which
Mhm.
is not at all related to Sharia. Let me tell you, in Sharia, the punishment of adultery can only be given if there will be two witnesses. Without the evidence, uh, without the evidence of any witness, uh, no punishment can be given. There is a punishment of stoning till death in Sharia, but there is a strict, uh, you can say, strict measure that that punishment is not supposed to be given to the accused people if there should be two witnesses who can.
That was my next question. Now in Saudi Arabia, you have to have
Eight.
eight witnesses, right? In Saudi Arabia and at least I don't know about Iran, but we that's we read about eight witnesses to be, and that seems to be a bit odd. I mean, anyone can get cornered and attacked and violated, really, and there is no witness. Actually, there's no law to protect them.
Yes, but you see, I'm just telling you what Sharia says, that there should be the witness. If there are no witnesses, nobody is supposed to give any punishment. But as you are talking about Iran and Saudi Arabia, you see that they might not follow the Sharia, what I can say, because again here the religious extremism comes. But uh, you see that in Sharia it is said that there should be witnesses who can uh, give the evidence that that the man and the woman is involved in that adultery. If there are no witnesses, nobody is supposed to give any punishment uh, to those accused men and women.
What do you value in most people?
Sorry,
What do you value in most people?
uh, humane and love to humanity, honesty, and whatever you are not supposed to compare yourself with the others. I know that.
What was the first book you read?
Okay, my first book uh, in my childhood, my first book, you recall I've read so many books. Uh, I don't remember the name of the book, but I've read many books which I read in my childhood. And my most favorite book is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte and A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens.
What is your greatest satisfaction?
When I when I can sleep peacefully, it means that there is no regrets, there are no uh, disappointments, and I'm happy with my life. I won't say that I'm the person who is never get disappointed, who's never been rejected, who has never been hurt. But I think that when I'm happy and when I'm satisfied, so I think that that's the most, know, the thing which satisfies me more, that I have no, the burdens on my conscience. If I've done a mistake and it keeps on, you know, uh, echoing in my mind that I have hurt that person or I have done this thing wrong with the other person, I can't be at rest until and unless I will seek the apology from that person because God will, you know, uh, whether God will forgive me or not. But before that, God will ask the person whom I'll hurt that have you forgiven Huma for the moment, for that act of hers when she hurts you or when she makes you cry. So I'm scared of this. I don't want people to uh, remember me as a person who, I just wish that people after me, people may recall me or remember me that I've never hurt in my life anyone. I've never hurt anyone.
That is wonderful. We say that to know someone, you have to read their books, see their art, and go into their music and their love stories and their so that you express yourself right there in your books. What is one thing that no one knows about you?
Uh, I love music, and my favorite movie. I was just 2 days ago. I was asking my friend that have you watched that movie, Roman Holiday? I watched it in my childhood with my father. It was coming up on the television, and I just sat down beside him. I, I cherish that movie, Roman Holiday. And music, yes, I love music very much. And if my father was an educated person, he was liberal, but he was having certain norms. I love to be a singer. I I used to sing so well in my childhood, but I knew it that I couldn't be a singer because my family would never allow me to sing. But, but I love it, and I love to play music, whether it's good.
You don't play an instrument.
No, but again, I would I would mention my youngest son that he plays guitar very well, and I never stop my children to do anything because you see that. I told you that my father was very educated, very liberal, but he has got certain norms that a girl shouldn't be a singer. Even he did not like me to write. But you see that by the time I started writing, and so I never stopped my children to do anything. I really, when my son is playing guitar, it seems to me that my dream to be the singer is being fulfilled in the form of my son. So
Do you have any
it
regrets
happens. No,
besides not getting involved in music?
uh, no regrets. Um, like I won't say that I'm a person who is easily be happy with everything. No, it's very difficult for me to be satisfied or to be happy with the situation. But you see, by the time that I've come across many rejections, that people they just reject me. Okay, you can't do this, you can't do that. So it hurts me. But no, I don't have any regrets. Never.
Your biggest mistake.
This mistake. There is no one specific mistake. I think I have done many mistakes in my life, and after committing those mistakes, I always learn a lesson, and I try that not to, do that mistake again in my life. This is what I've learned. Trial and error. I'm just going on the basis of trial and error. But once when I've been through a mistake which had given me some of the dire consequences in my life, I I just make myself sure not to repeat that mistake again.
Saddest moment in your life.
There are many saddest moments. Like uh, yes, when there is a war going on somewhere, when I recall the people who were killed during the migration, when the people who become the victims of war and terrorism, and when you see that, uh, I think 2 or 3 months ago, there was an airplane which was crashed, and there were 99 people who were all burned. That was the saddest moment. Whenever there is something so like people who are just going through the worst conditions. Like today, when I was when I was on my way to work, my driver stopped somewhere to take the tire tube. So there, I saw a boy who was lying on you know on a sofa. It was placed there. I'll share the picture with you, and then I had written a poem on this. That the boy was when the people they are just saying that the pandemic is going on. We have to wear a mask. We have to keep a social distance. You see, the boy was just lying at the side of the road, and it was sleeping so peacefully. So such sights where the you see where I feel or I see that they are also the human beings. They've gotten the same blood. They've gotten the same sentiments that I'm having and the others are having. So why they are deprived of this thing? That really makes me sad.
You seem to want to help everybody. You fight for peace, tranquility,
Uh,
promote good ethics, high morals. If you
yes.
were the richest woman in the world, what would you do with your money?
Oh my God.
I know.
My son, he said that, see, you don't write well. I said, why? He said, see, J.K. Rowling is the richest woman in the world, but you are not. So I said that I don't write to be rich. Whatever God has given me, I'm thankful for that. Okay, if I'll be the richest one, I've never thought about it. Really. I've never thought that one day I'll be the richest person. I just want to be a happiest person. I wish to go around the globe like that, around the world in 80 days. But for that, I need to have money. But I've never regret that I'm not that rich that I could take, a world tour because I'm not having that much enough funds. Uh, but I never regret, okay? I can eat very well 3 times a day. I can sleep well, and I have friends, I have family, and I have when I want to listen to the music, I can listen to that. When I want to watch a movie, I can watch it. That's enough for me. Really, I've never thought to be the richest person.
And write poetry.
Yes, yes,
Are you working on anything at the present time that you'd like to share with the readers?
yes. I'm just looking forward to write about the breast cancer awareness. And I have a friend who's Australian, and you see that she shared her, that she had been through a breast cancer thing, and how courageously she's working. And but during that, the what we say, during the treatment, uh, so yes, chemotherapy, she lost all her hair. So then later she had got a wig, a good wig that she used to wear, and you see that her daughter is having very long hair. So what her daughter did, that after seeing her mother found in that chemotherapy, she just had donated her long hair to someone to make a wig for the cancer patient. So I'm going to write this story for my friend Lee, who is an Australian, lives in Australia, and with her consent. I'm working upon this, and again, I'm just looking forward to write for pandemic, that after consequences of the pandemic. And during the pandemic, when there was a strict lockdown, I had written a short book, which is The Banshee. The best thing was that when I submitted my book to the Amazon for the publication, they said that the title of my book was In the Wake of COVID-19. So they sent me an email. They said, okay, that title is not acceptable. That is being blocked. So you better take another title. So I selected that Banshee, the pandemic 2020. And it's all about the refugees that who are living in the camps and how they are just coping up with this biological weapon. So
Why would they have to control your title? You have to have freedom to put any title you want in your book. Did you publish actually through them, through their publishing outlets, or you used your own publisher?
No, I don't have my own publisher, and it had never happened to me that any of my title was not accepted by them. But they said that at that time you see that uh, it was the highest graph of the toll of the deaths after COVID-19. So they said that it would have created a negative impression on the people who are already very much scared of that.
Well, that's for you to that is for you as an author to decide what the title of your book should be, and should not be taken politically correct. If you could write anything you want to, and you should be able to publish it however you want to publish it. But anyway, yeah, that's an interesting one. It makes the audience want to buy it even more.
Yes, but it only happened with the book on the COVID-19. Otherwise, whatever the title I had chosen, there was no rejection of my titles. And somehow I think it had never happened to me except this COVID-19. And I think that is because at the time the people were, in a sort of depression. There were hundreds of people who were dying all around the world, even in my country as well. So even in the beginning of that pandemic, I used to sit alone and cry and pray for everyone. But somehow, I think things are getting better. And I'm not scared if I'm writing against this uh, political system, which is taking away the peace of mind, which is taking away the lives of the people. And you see that one movie, uh, you might have watched it, War Dogs. So whoever is talking about that what is happening in the world, when we are talking about the peace, when we are raising our voice at the Security Council sessions, so why there is no peace in the world? Just after watching that movie, I just came to know, okay, that's the reason. The people who are raising the voice for the peace, they are the ones who are just the warmongers, whether they are living in Pakistan or India or in Bangladesh or any part of the world. And it's really a good movie, War Dogs. I always suggest to the people that if you want to know that okay, that this is happening, and as I just want that somebody from United Nations may listen to me, that United Nations was not founded to be the best speech forum to the world leaders. It was formed after Second World War to create peace in the world. But people they come and they speak very well, and afterwards there is no implementation of anything for the betterment of the people. I'm not talking about the people of one particular religion, one particular race. The United Nations is responsible to create the peace, to make the leaders who are coming over there as the best leaders, that what they're supposed to do. We should have reached one uh, conclusion, one decision to be taken for the better world.
Are you thinking of having your books translated and be distributed in different countries in their languages?
Yeah, because uh, I'm writing this to the people. Like, uh, I'm very much concerned about my book that is for the corridors of transmutation. And for that, I went to Afghan embassy in Islamabad, and I presented my book to the cultural attaché of Afghanistan. So he was very happy. He said that okay, there is someone who is uh, thinking about it. So I said, why not? I think wherever the things are going against the human, that the people are being the victims of war and terrorism or human trafficking, I would love to write about it. And yes, surely, if anybody can translate my book, any of my book, into any other language, it will be an honor to me. Yes, why not?
Um, the best piece of advice actually you could give anyone at the age of hope, young people.
Never give up. Uh, and never feel that, okay, this is, after this, I won't be able to start my life again. Because I have come across such situation a number of times in my life, and it seems to me, okay, what will I do after this? But you see, the moment you stop taking it as the end of the world, God is so compassionate that He opens another door for you, and then you start your journey. So I think that there's a Russian proverb that hope always dies in the end. We have to be hopeful. Like I said in the beginning of this conversation, that I'm very much hopeful that we'll be free from this COVID-19 as well. We'll be free with all the uh, shackles that, you know, really tie the
Are you
basic rights.
are you more religious or
I think that what is religion if there is no spirituality into that? If one is religious, then one has to, the one is more into that spirituality as well. Like the people, they say that, okay, do yoga, exercise. As a young girl, I used to do that a lot, but afterwards I just quit those things. But later I realized when I'm offering my praise, that is also a meditation. When I was young, my friend, she told me that, okay, do meditation like this, and I used to do that. But by the time I said that when I'm offering my prayers, this is also meditation. That is, I'm talking to someone who has got all the answers of my worries. That is spiritualism, and I think no religion is complete without spirituality. Religion is not extremism that you keep on giving long sermons and you're not implementing into your life. So I think that there is no existence of religion if there is no spirituality. And I think that meditation is also like that, that you are just talking to my one of my aunts, she once said to me that when you are upset, just speak to God and just tell him, God, I'm having this problem, instead of sharing with the people. And really, I do this. Uh, I I'm not very I follow my religion, but sometimes I skip some of the rituals, religious rituals. But it doesn't mean that I'm losing my spirituality. Spirituality is something that when you are very much close to the Creator who has created us, who has given us the life, and we have to move back after my death. So I think that no religion is complete without spirituality.
what keeps you up at night? I
What
just
keeps you what?
What keeps you up at night?
Uh,
Do you write at nighttime? You write in the morning? When is your best time to write?
um, it depends.
Well, there are two
Uh,
questions in here actually.
yes, uh, when something that if I talk about my first book, so one of my friends, she has a little baby, and she told me that, you see, I remained awake in the night because of my few months baby. So I said I also remained awake. So she said, why you don't have a small baby? I said, no, I'm just creating my baby. And that baby was my first book. So sometimes what happened that while I'm writing it, I used to, sleep there, sitting on the chair. My head was lying on my laptop. Then I just wake up and I thought that what I'm doing. So the best part is this, that when you see that my mind has started creating a story, that okay, I'm going to write this, or that when I'm having enough inspiration from a situation, then I started writing. But usually, I write in the night because in the daytime I have different shows of life. I'm in work, so at the workplace I cannot write.
Huma, has been a pleasure. I thank you for giving us your time, and I hope you will come back to another show as soon as you have your book release, a new book release. I will say goodbye to you, but not before I give the audience the gift that we promised. Please,
Yeah,
could you recite
sure.
some poems for us?
And I'm also very thankful to you for inviting me to this show. Really,
It's our pleasure.
uh, I have no words to say my thanks, but
Thank you.
thanks to you that you have invited me. And you see that I really uh, like the way you are writing. You see that one thing I would like to say there, that words also speak. Words are like your wives. We are sitting far away. You are sitting in the United States. I'm sitting here in Pakistan. And this is for the first time that I'm communicating with you on the Zoom meeting. But whenever I read your message or your email, gives me an idea. Okay, this is a message or an email from a very nice gentleman. Remember, I had written this when my name was edited in Orthopedia by you.
Well, thank you so much. I'm very honored. We uh, we have you as part of Orthopedia, actually, in the encyclopedia, and it will be published next year in printed volumes, and that will become the first edition actually going out, and a memorable one. Well, thank you very much for being with me.
Thanks to you. Okay, may I read my poem?
Please.
Okay. Um, if you can see the picture of this child, this picture has inspired me to write the book. Can you see the picture of this child?
Oh yes.
Can you see? So this inspires me to write. The name of my poem is Take Up the Gauntlet. COVID-19. Life may come back to me. I'm at home, but not alone. Life is not Life is not a true quarantine. I wanna swim in the main stream of giggles, stroll in the meadows, to run after the butterflies. My little eyes can behold the rainbow arc beneath the haze of mortality. Life cannot be obscured. I count more blessings than my regrets. I can be Lucy Gray of Wordsworth. I keep on whistling in this vast death battlefield of COVID-19. My footprints won't disappear. I'll bridge the gap of fear fearlessly. I maintain the spirits of my loved ones. The pandemic makes me more closer to nature. Ah, losing my loved ones associates the boundaries of death and birth with fusion of nature. In heaven we all shall meet. I'll be back live.
And that was the admirable Huma Kirmani.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I'm really grateful.
My pleasure. Until next time.